Hare Krishna. So we're going to begin today's Caitanya Caritamrita class. Jaya Jaya Shri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Sri Caitanya Charitamrita by Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj with translations and purports by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. And we are reading from the Adi-lila, chapter 3, entitled The External Reasons for Lord Chaitanya's Appearance, starting from text 34. Hare Krishna. Shesha Lilaya Dare Nama Shri Krishna Chaitanya Shri Krishna Janaye Sabha Vishwa Kailadanya. In his later pastimes, he is known as Lord Shri Krishna Chaitanya. He blesses the whole world by teaching about the name and fame of Lord Shri Krishna. So we're talking about how Lord Chaitanya, it's okay, Lord Chaitanya appeared early in the age of Kali in the district of Nadia. We heard about his reasons that he wanted to appear, to teach Bhava Bhakti, so that people can actually go to Goloka Vrindavan and not stay stuck in Vaidhi Bhakti, worshipping the Lord in awe and reverence and going to Vaikuntha. So he came for that reason. And he was known in his early pastimes as Vishvambar, maintainer of the world. And in his later pastimes, he became known as Sri Krishna Chaitanya. So I'm going to read the purport here. Lord Chaitanya remained a householder only until his 24th year had passed. Then he entered the renounced order and remained manifest in this material world until his 48th year. Therefore, his Shesha Lila, or the final portion of his pastimes, lasted 24 years. Some so-called Vaishnavas say that the renounced order of life was not accepted in the Vaishnava Sampradaya or disciplic succession until Lord Chaitanya. This is not a very intelligent proposition. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took the sannyas order from Sripad Keshava Bharati, who belonged to the Shankara sect, which approves of only 10 names for sannyasis. Long before the advent of Sripad Shankaracharya, however, the sannyas order existed in the Vaishnava line of Vishnu Swami. In the Vishnu Swami Vaishnava Sampradaya, there are 10 different kinds of sannyas names and 108 different names for sannyasis who accept the Tridanda, the triple staff of sannyas. This is approved by the Vedic rules. Therefore, Vaishnava sannyas was existent even before the appearance of Shankaracharya, although those who know nothing about Vaishnava sannyas unnecessarily declare that there is no sannyas in the Vaishnava Sampradaya. During the time of Lord Chaitanya, the influence of Shankaracharya in society was very strong. People thought that one could accept sannyas only in the disciplic succession of Shankaracharya. Lord Chaitanya could have performed his missionary activities as a householder, but he found householder life an obstruction to his mission. Therefore, he decided to accept the renounced order sannyas. Since his acceptance of sannyas was also designed to attract public attention, Lord Chaitanya, not wishing to disturb the social convention, took the renounced order of life from a sannyasi in the disciplic succession of Shankaracharya, although sannyas was also sanctioned in the Vaishnava Sampradaya. That's interesting.
Yeah.
So Lord Chaitanya, it's not that he couldn't take initiation, sannyasa initiation in the Vaishnava Sampradaya, but it wasn't very common, wasn't very well known. And because the whole purpose that Lord Chaitanya took sannyas was to get people to respect him and listen to him and pay obeisances to him, and basically to increase his circle of influence, because he definitely wanted to influence people. So then he took in the line of Shankaracharya because that was his line was very prominent, his influence was very strong, those sannyasis were highly respected, and they got a lot of attention from the public. And so instead of doing something slightly fringy or, something that was questionable, people weren't so sure of him and listened to him. So not that he's supporting, Mayavad sannyas or anything, but that he just did it for the sake of being able to have access also to the Mayavadi sannyasis and to get the respect and the authority necessary to preach Krishna consciousness. Dumna? Oh, you had your hand up. Yeah.
Sorry, just a second. So, basically Krishna's Kaviraj is saying unscrupulous persons think that Lord Chaitanya was the first Vaishnava sannyasi, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
No, he's saying, yeah, I mean, he's saying that people who don't know much about Vaishnava sannyas think that there basically there were no Vaishnava sannyasis before Lord Chaitanya. I think that Lord Chaitanya was the first sannyasi who was a Vaishnava. But then Prabhupada corrects that and says that no, actually, there were sannyasis in the line of Vishnu Swami. Okay. In the Shankara Sampradaya, there are 10 different names awarded to sannyasis. 1, Tirtha, 2, Ashram, 3, Vana, 4, Aranya, 6, Giri, 5, Giri, 6, Parvat, 7, Sagar, 8, Saraswati, 9, Bharati, and 10, Puri. Before one enters sannyas, he has one of the various names for a brahmachari, the assistant to a sannyasi. Sannyasis with the titles Tirtha and Ashram generally stay at Dwarka, and their brahmachari name is Swarup. Those known by the name Vana and Aranya stay at Purushottam or Jagannath Puri, and their brahmachari name is Prakash. Those with the names Giri, Parvat, and Sagar generally stay at Badrik Ashram, and their brahmachari name is Ananda. Those with the titles Saraswati, Bharati, and Puri usually live at Sringeri in South India, and their brahmachari name is Caitanya. Sripad Shankaracharya established 4 monasteries in India in the 4 directions, north, south, east, and west, and he entrusted them to 4 sannyasis who were his disciples. Now there are hundreds of branch monasteries under these 4 principal monasteries, and although there is an official symmetry among them, there are many differences in their dealings. The 4 different sects of these monasteries are known as Anandavara, Bhogavara, Kitavara, and Bhumivara, and in course of time they have developed different ideas and different slogans. According to the regulation of the disciplic succession, one who wishes to enter the renounced order in Shankara's sect must first be trained as a brahmachari under a bona fide sannyasi. The brahmachari's name is ascertained according to the group to which the sannyasi belongs. Lord Chaitanya accepted sannyas from Keshava Bharati. When he first approached Keshava Bharati, he was accepted as a brahmachari with the name Sri Krishna Chaitanya Brahmachari. After he took sannyas, he preferred to keep the name Krishna Chaitanya. The great authorities in the disciplic succession had not offered to explain why Lord Chaitanya refused to take the name Bharati after he took sannyas from a Bharati, until Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj volunteered the explanation that because a sannyasi in the Shankar Sampradaya thinks he has become the supreme, Lord Chaitanya wanted to avoid such a misconception, kept the name Sri Krishna Chaitanya, placing himself as an eternal servitor. A brahmachari is supposed to serve the spiritual master. Therefore, he did not negate that relationship of servitude to his spiritual master. Accepting such a position is favorable for the relationship between the disciple and the spiritual master. The authentic biographies also mention that Lord Chaitanya accepted the danda, rod, and begging pot, symbolic of the sannyas order, at the time he took sannyas. Interesting facts about sannyasis. So, yeah. Lord Chaitanya, because when the Mayavadis take sannyas, they address each other afterwards as Narayan. Like the idea is that now you've become God. So Lord Chaitanya was like, no, no one is going to address me as Narayan. So he didn't take the sannyas name. He took sannyas, but he stayed with his brahmachari name to communicate to the world that I am not God. I am the servant. I remain the humble servant of my guru and the Lord. So nice insight. let's go to text 35. Tanra Yuga Vatara Jani Garga Mahashaya Krishnara Nama Karane Kariyache Nirnaya. Read.
I can say.
Yeah.
Knowing the Lord Chaitanya to be the incarnation of Kali Yuga, Gargamuni, during the naming ceremony of Krishna, he predicted his appearance.
So Lord Chaitanya, he came in the form of a devotee. He didn't come like, I'm God and I'm here to, show you my powers as the supreme controller. He came as a devotee, and he didn't like it when people, suggested that he's the supreme personality of Godhead, although he actually is the supreme personality of Godhead, unlike the Mayavadi sannyasis. So he's the covered avatar, covered incarnation. Sometimes Prahlad Maharaj calls him the Channa avatar, which means he's covered. He's the Lord in disguise, basically. But there are some references to his being the supreme, and one of those is from Canto 10 of Srimad Bhagavatam, where Gargamuni is naming Krishna, and he refers to, not indirectly, without naming him, he refers to that he comes in a yellow form. Justa?
So you said Prahlad Maharaj called Lord Chaitanya Chana Avatar?
Yeah.
I was wondering, I've heard Chana Avatar a lot, but I was wondering where it came from. Like, is it in the Bhagavatam?
Yeah, there's a verse there in the 7th canto. It's probably going to be quoted here.
Okay,
Let's see.
thank you.
Okay, so now he's going to start quoting from Srimad Bhagavatam. Asanvarnas trayo hyasya grinato nu yugam tanu shuklo raktas tata pita idanim krishnatam gataha. Do you want to read just that?
Sorry, I don't have it right now.
Okay.
Yeah, what's the number?
It's chapter 3, text 36. But I can get, Divya, you have it?
No, you said 26?
36.
36. Yeah, I have it. 1 second. 1 second. Okay, yes. This boy Krishna has 3 other colors, white, red, and yellow, as he appears in different ages. Now he has appeared in a transcendental blackish color. This is a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam 10.8.13.
Yeah, so this is specifically he's mentioning Lord Chaitanya, because the other Kali Yuga avatars, when they come, just the Yuga avatars who are not Lord Chaitanya, that come in the 999 other Kali Yugas in the day of Brahma, they're all black color. So Lord Chaitanya is the only one that is pita, or yellow. Okay, so text 37. Shukla Rakta Pita Varna Etina Dyuti Satya Treta Kali Kale Darena Shripati. Aruna?
Yes. White, red, and yellow. These are the 3 bodily lustres that has the Lord, the husband of goddess of fortune, assumes in the ages of Satya, Treta, and Kali respectively.
Okay. 38. Idanim Dwapare Tingho Haila Krishna Varna Esava Shastra Gama Puranera Marma. You want to read, Daniel?
Now in the Dvapara Yuga, the Lord has descended in a blackish hue. This is the essence of the statements in the Puranas and other Vedic literatures with reference to the context.
Okay. Now text 39. Dwapare Bhagavan Shyama Pitavasa Nijayuda Srivatsadi Bir Ankaischa Lakshanar Upalakshitaha.
In the Bhagavad in a blackish hue. He is dressed in yellow. He holds his own weapons, and he is decorated with Kastuba jewel and the marks of Srivacha. This is how his symbol. This is how his symptoms are described. Purport. This is the verse from Srimad Bhagavatam 11.5:27, spoken by Saint Karabhajana, one of the 9 royal mystics who explained to King Nimi the different features of the Lord in different ages.
Okay,
Okay.
text 40. Kali Yuge Yuga Dharma Namera Prachara Tatilagi Pitavarna Chaitanya Avatara. The religious practice for the age of Kali is to broadcast the glories of the holy name. Only for this purpose has the Lord in a yellow color descended as Lord Chaitanya. Purport. In this age of Kali, the practical system of religion for everyone is the chanting of the name of Godhead. This was introduced in this age by Lord Chaitanya. Bhakti Yoga actually begins with the chanting of the holy name, as confirmed by Madhvacharya in his commentary on the Mundaka Upanishad. He quotes this verse from the Narayan Samhita. Dwaparyar Janar Vishnu Pancharatra tu Kevalai Kalotu Namamatrena Pujyate Bhagavan Hari. In the Dwapar Yuga, people should worship Lord Vishnu only by the regulative principles of the Narada Pancharatra and other such authorized books. In the age of Kali, however, people should simply chant the holy names of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Hare Krishna mantra is specifically mentioned in many Upanishads, such as the Kali Santarana Upanishad, where it is said, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Iti Shodashakam Namnam, Kali Kalmashanashanam, Natapara Taropaya, Sarva Vedeshu Drishyate. After searching through all the Vedic literature, one cannot find a method of religion more sublime for this age than the chanting of Hare Krishna. There it is, folks. Okay, so this was Lord Chaitanya's mission. Text 41. Taptahima samakanti prakanda sharira navameka jini kanta dvani ye gambira. You got it there, Jushta?
Yep. The luster of his expansive body resembles molten gold. The deep sound of his voice conquers the thundering of newly assembled clouds.
Yeah, so everything about Lord Chaitanya was striking. We were reading yesterday, right, about
Broad chest.
his shoulders of a lion, powers of a lion, loud voice of a lion. And here it's saying his voice is like the thundering of newly assembled clouds. So it was loud, it was deep, and his body was not only powerful and broad, but it was color of molten gold. And now we're going to hear about his stature. Text 42. Dargya vishtare ye apanarahata charihastahaya mahapurusha vikyata. Divya?
Thank you. Sorry, 1 second.
42.
Sorry, 42?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. One who measures 4 cubits in height and in breadth by his own hand is celebrated as a great personality.
Okay, so I guess Lord Chaitanya was that, whatever that measurement is. Because Lord Chaitanya's hands must have been very big. Text 43. Nyagroda parimandala haitanranama Nyagroda parimandala tanu Chaitanya gunadama. Aruna?
Yes. Such a person is called Nagrodha Parimandala. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who personifies all good qualities, has the body of a Nagrodha Parimandala. Perfect. No one other than the Supreme Lord Himself, who has engaged the conditioned souls by His own illusory energy, can possess these bodily features. These features certainly indicate an incarnation of Vishnu and no one else.
Ajanulam Vittabujja Kamala Lochana Tila Pula Jini Nasha Sudam Shubhadana. Daniel.
His arms are long enough to reach his knees. His eyes are just like lotus flowers. His nose is like a sesame flower, and his face is as beautiful as the moon.
Mm. Radharani's nose is also described as a sesame flower, like delicate. Text 45. Shanta Danta Krishna Bhakti Nishta Parayana Bhakta Vatsala Shushila Sarva Bhute Sama.
He is peaceful, self-controlled, and fully devoted to the transcendental service of Lord Sri Krishna. He is affectionate towards his devotees, he is gentle, and he is equally disposed towards all living beings.
All the qualities that we hear about in the Bhagavad Gita, right? Of
Yes.
people with divine nature or transcendentalists or great devotees or so he had all its good qualities. Text 46. Chandanara Angara Bala Chandana Bhushana Nityakale Parikarena Krishna Sankirtana. He is decorated with sandalwood bangles and armlets and anointed with the pulp of sandalwood. He especially wears these decorations to dance in Sri Krishna Sankirtan. I noticed that always whenever they're having the Kirtan Mela in Mayapur, they have that big deity in the Panchatattva, and they always decorate him with, they bring out the sandalwood bangles. They have sandalwood bangles and sandalwood armlets, and they also have like a sandalwood necklace with a big pendant. I can't remember what the pendant is, but it's like wood. I asked somebody, because I noticed that they do it every year during Kirtan Mela, and I asked somebody, like, is there some significance with this wooden jewelry? And they said it's sandalwood. And I didn't know this, now I know.
Yeah.
He wears the sandalwood when especially wears them when he's ready to dance in Sri Krishna Sankirtan. So that's whoever offered those, they understood. They had read Caitanya Charitamrita and they knew that when Lord Chaitanya is ready to dance in Kirtan, that's what he wears. So, nice. Text 47. Esaba Gunalana Muni Vaishampayana Sahasraname Kailatanra Nama Ganana. Krishna.
Recording all these qualities of Lord Chaitanya, the sage Vaishampayana included his name in the Vishnu Sahasranam.
That's pretty cool. I didn't know that. Vishnu Sahasranam. So Vaishampayana, he understood that Lord Chaitanya was Supreme Personality of Godhead. 48. Adi-lila Chaitanyera Adi Arashesha Adi-lilaya Chari Chari Nama Vishesha. Divya?
The pastimes of Lord Chaitanya have two divisions, the early pastimes, Adi-lila, and the later pastimes, Shesha-lila. He has 4 names in each of these 2 leelas.
Adi-lila, Shesha-lila. 4 names. I wonder what the names are. Maybe we're going to hear about it. Okay, text 49. Suvarna Varno Hemango Varangas Chandanangadi Sanyasa Kichama Shanto Nishta Shanti Parayanaha. In his early pastimes, he appears as a householder with a golden complexion. His limbs are beautiful, and his body, smeared with the pulp of sandalwood, seems like molten gold. In his later pastimes, he accepts the sannyas order, and he is equipoised and peaceful. He is the highest abode of peace and devotion, for he silences the impersonalist non-devotees. Purport. This is a verse from the Mahabharata, Dana Dharma Vishnu Sahasranam Stotra. Oh, this is the actual, what he was referring to, because Vaishampayana, he narrates a lot of the Mahabharata, like before we get to the Pandavas part, a lot of it is narrated by Vaishampayana. And so it's there in the Mahabharata. And this is the verse where he's mentioning him. Okay, let's see what Prabhupada says. In his commentary on the Vishnu Sahasranam called the Namarta Shuddha, Srila Baladev Vidyabhushan, commenting upon this verse, asserts that Lord Chaitanya is the Supreme Personality of Godhead according to the evidence of the Upanishads. He explains that Suvarna Varna means a golden complexion. He also quotes the Vedic injunction, Yada Pashya Pashyate Rukma Varnam Kartaram Isham Purusham Brahmayonim. Mundaka Upanishad 313. Rukma Varnam Kartaram Isham refers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead as having a complexion the color of molten gold. Purusha means the Supreme Lord, and Brahma Yonim indicates that he is also the Supreme Brahman. This evidence too proves that Lord Caitanya is the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna. Another meaning of the description of the Lord as having a golden hue is that Lord Chaitanya's personality is as fascinating as gold is attractive. He's not just beautiful, but he has a very fascinating personality. Srila Baladev Vidyabhushan has explained that the word Varanga means exquisitely beautiful. Lord Chaitanya accepted sannyas, leaving aside his householder life, to preach his mission. He has equanimity in different senses. First, he describes the confidential truth of the personality of Godhead, and second, he satisfies everyone by knowledge and attachment to Krishna. He is peaceful because he renounces all topics not related to the service of Krishna. Srila Baladev Vidyabhushan has explained that the word Nishta indicates his being rigidly fixed in chanting the holy name of Sri Krishna. Lord Chaitanya subdued all disturbing opponents in devotional service, especially the monists, who are actually averse to the personal feature of the Supreme Lord. So, yeah, just looking back at the Sanskrit here for text 49, Suvarna Varna means having the color of gold. Hemanga means his limbs were like molten gold. Vara Anga means a most beautiful body. Chandana Angadi, whose body was smeared with sandalwood. Sannyasikrit means that he practiced the renounced order of life. And then some of his qualities are Shama, he's equipoised, Shanta, peaceful, Nishta, he's fixed in devotion, Shanti, peaceful, and Parayana, the highest resort, or the shelter of everyone. So all those words describe Lord Chaitanya from Vishnu Sahasranam. And see, he couldn't mention his name because otherwise it would foil his plan, because Krishna wanted to come as a devotee. And if everybody, as soon as he came and they saw him, they saw that he did everything that this verse is saying, he had the qualities, the complexion, everything, they'd be like, you're God, it says right here in the Mahabharata. And then Lord Chaitanya have to be like, So since his name's not directly mentioned anywhere, he can get away with just being like, nah, it's somebody else. I'm just the servant of the servant. Gopi Bhartu Padakamalayo or Dasa Dasa Anadas. That's how Lord Chaitanya identified himself. Dasa 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 Anadas. The servant of the servant of the servant of the servant of Krishna, who is the lover of the gopis. Okay, text 50. Vyakta Kari Bhagavate Kahe Bada Bada Kali Yuge Dharma Nama Sankirtana Sar. Aruna?
Sorry, I'm busy right now.
Okay, we can get Divya. Go ahead, Divya.
Thank you. It's sorry, 1 second. Okay. In Srimad Bhagavatam, it is repeatedly and clearly said that the essence of religion in the age of Kali is the chanting of the holy name of Krishna.
Jai. The essence of religion in the age of Kali is chanting the holy name of Krishna. Kali Yuge Dharma, Nama, Sankirtana, Sara. Sara means the essence. So the essence of Dharma is Nam Sankirtan. Okay. Iti Dwapar Urvisha Stuvanti Jagadishvaram Nana Tantra Vidanena Kalav Api Yatashvinu. Daniel.
O king, in this way, people in Dvapara Yuga worship the Lord of the universe. In Kali Yuga, they also worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. By the regulations of the revealed scriptures, kindly now hear of that from me. This verse is spoken by Saint Garabhajana in the Srimad Bhagavatam 11.5.31.
Okay. I remember Hari Parshad Prabhu talking about this at Sadhu Sangha. He was saying something about the tantras, Tantra Vidanena in the age of Kali. In Kali Yuga, they worship the Supreme Lord by the regulations of the revealed scriptures. Okay, let's see. Text 52. Now this is a famous verse. Krishna Varnam Trisha Krishnam Sangopangas Triparshadam Yagyai Sankirtana Prayer Yajanti Sumeda Saha.
In the age of Kali, intelligent the incarnate Godhead, who constantly sings the names of Krishna. Although his complexion is not blackish, he is Krishna himself. He is accompanied by his associates, servant, weapon, and confidential companion.
Maybe just let me read the purport because it's long and I'm afraid they won't hear you well. This text is from Srimad Bhagavatam 11:532. Srila Jiva Goswami has explained this verse in his commentary on the Bhagavatam known as the Krama Sandarbha, wherein he says that Lord Krishna also appears with a golden complexion. That golden Lord Krishna is Lord Caitanya, who is worshipped by intelligent men in this age. That is confirmed in Srimad Bhagavatam by Garga Muni, who said that although the child Krishna was blackish, he also appears in 3 other colors, red, white, and yellow. He exhibited his white and red complexions in Satya and Treta ages respectively. He did not exhibit the remaining color, yellow gold, until he appeared as Lord Caitanya, who is known as Gaurahari. Srila Jiva Goswami explains that Krishna Varnam means Sri Krishna Chaitanya. Krishna Varna and Krishna Chaitanya are equivalent. The name Krishna appears with both Lord Krishna and Lord Chaitanya Krishna. Lord Krishna and Lord Chaitanya Krishna, because his name was Sri Krishna Chaitanya. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but he always engages in describing Krishna and thus enjoys transcendental bliss by chanting and remembering his name and form. Lord Krishna himself appears as Lord Chaitanya to preach the highest gospel. Lord Chaitanya always chants the holy name of Krishna and describes it also, and because he is Krishna himself, whoever meets him will automatically chant the holy name of Krishna and later describe it to others. He injects one with transcendental Krishna consciousness, which merges the chanter in transcendental bliss. In all respects, therefore, he appears before everyone as Krishna, either by personality or by sound. Simply by seeing Lord Chaitanya, one at once remembers Lord Krishna. One may therefore accept him as Vishnu Tattva. In other words, Lord Chaitanya is Lord Krishna himself. So this is all in commenting on Krishna Varna. So Krishna, because Varna means, it can mean category, like Chatur Varnam, right? Like the Varnashram system, that there are 4 Varnas, 4 categories of people according to their occupations. So one way of understanding Krishna Varnam is that Lord Chaitanya is in the category of Krishna. In other words, he's Krishna. He's in the same category as Krishna. And then another meaning of Varna is the way Prabhupada translates in the word for word, repeating the syllables. That Varnam, that's what he says, that he is always saying Krishna. He's always pronouncing the syllables Krishna. So he's Krishna and he's always chanting Krishna. So that's Lord Chaitanya, the Krishna who is always chanting Krishna. All right. And then not only does he always chant Krishna, but he also gets everyone else to chant it. Because he's Krishna, he has the potency to influence everyone very powerfully to be inspired to chant Hare Krishna. Then Sangha Pangastra Parshadam further indicates that Lord Chaitanya is Lord Krishna. His body is always decorated with ornaments of sandalwood and sandalwood paste. By his super excellent beauty, he subdues all the people of the age. In other descents, the Lord sometimes used weapons to defeat the demoniac, but in this age, the Lord subdued them with his all-attractive figure as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Srila Jiva Goswami explains that his beauty is his astra, or weapon, to subdue the demons. Because he's all attractive, it is to be understood that all the demigods lived with him as his companions. His acts were uncommon and his associates wonderful. When he propagated the Sankirtan movement, he attracted many great scholars and acharyas, especially in Bengal and Orissa. Lord Chaitanya is always accompanied by his best associates like Lord Nityananda, Advaita, Gadadhar, and Srivas. Yeah, so Sango, Pangastra Parshada. Anga means along with his associates. Upanga means his servants. Astra means his weapons. And Parshada, his confidential companions. So the Parshadas, the confidential companions, are Lord Nityananda, Advaita, Gadadhar, Srivas. And then his Upangas, his servitors, are like Govinda and the ones who are always serving him. And then Sa'anga, his other associates, means all the other associates that we're going to read about here in Caitanya Charitamrita. So he's never alone. He's always with his associates, different levels, 3 different levels of associates according to their closeness with him, their intimacy with him. And then Astra means his weapons. So Prabhupada is saying that his weapon is his beauty. Lord Chaitanya is so beautiful. Then as soon as they see him, they just surrender. They just realize that he is a special person, a divine person. And it's interesting because Krishna is all attractive, right?
Yeah.
But Krishna had to use other weapons, right? Krishna had to use his fist, he had to use the chakra, he used other weapons for killing demons. Whereas Lord Chaitanya was so beautiful, he didn't need any weapons, he just knocked them out by his beauty. He just killed the demoniac mentality. He changed the hearts and by his amazing beauty. So it seems like Lord Chaitanya was even more beautiful than Krishna, according to what this is implying here. And yeah, his acts were uncommon, his associates wonderful. So Lord Chaitanya was really an amazing personality. Srila Jiva Goswami cites a verse from the Vedic literature which says that there is no necessity of performing sacrificial demonstrations or ceremonial functions. He comments that instead of engaging in such external pompous exhibitions, all people, regardless of caste, color, or creed, can assemble together and chant Hare Krishna to worship Lord Chaitanya. Krishna Varnam Tvisha Krishnam, Tvisha Krishnam, indicates that prominence should be given to the name of Krishna. Lord Chaitanya taught Krishna consciousness and chanted the name of Krishna. Therefore, to worship Lord Chaitanya, everyone should together chant the Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. To propagate worship in churches, temples, or mosques is not possible because people have lost interest in that. But anywhere and everywhere, people can chant Hare Krishna. Thus, worshiping Lord Chaitanya, they can perform the highest activity and fulfill the highest religious purpose in satisfying the Supreme Lord. Yeah, Srila Prabhupada saw that when he was here, many of the churches were closing.
Yeah.
The churches were just, still, the churches were pretty much empty, just a few old ladies there. And then, and a lot of them were just closing, coming up for sale, and being repurposed into community centers or whatever. I remember when I was in England, there was one big church, a beautiful big stone church, and they ended up turning it into a pub, like a bar. I was just like, you gotta be kidding me. And they called it something really dumb. Oh, they called it the Toad. You know, like a toad, like a frog. I was just like, that's just demoralizing. I don't know, it's just like wrong. Anyways, that's the situation. So Prabhupada observed that people are not interested in going to church. They're not even so interested in going to temple. You know, we see that, yeah, mosques, but people, they like to sing and, right? They're starting to do kirtans. Kirtaniyas are getting like big audiences, even in the secular world. Not just that they're throwing events and the devotees are coming, but they're like doing events just like out there in the world and just like regular people, like anybody who's kind of like into music and meditation and kirtan, they're coming. So, and they're having a spiritual experience. So this kind of thing is going to happen more. This is just the beginning. Kirtan is going to become very popular as the golden age unfolds. So the purport. Srila Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, a famous disciple of Lord Chaitanya, said, The principle of transcendental devotional service having been lost, Sri Krishna Chaitanya has appeared in order to deliver again the process of devotion. He is so kind that he is distributing love of Krishna. Everyone should be attracted more and more to his lotus feet, as humming bees are attracted to a lotus flower. Very beautiful. So just like bees are, they make a beeline. Go straight to the heart of the flower. We should just go to Lord Chaitanya's lotus feet. Mhm. Yeah. Okay, text 53. Shuna bhai e saba Chaitanya mahima ye shloke kahe tanra mahimara sima.
My dear brothers, please hear all these glories of Lord Chaitanya. This verse clearly summarizes his activities and characteristics.
Krishna e dui varna sadayan ramuke atava Krishna ke tingho varne nijasuke. Drishta 54.
Sorry, my phone's a little slow. 54. The two syllables Krishna are always in his mouth, or he constantly describes Krishna with great pleasure.
So this is Lord Chaitanya. He's either talking about Krishna or he's chanting Hare Krishna. That's it. He's totally absorbed in Krishna. Name, form, qualities, pastimes. Text 55. Krishna Varna Shabdera Artha Duita Pramana Krishna Vinu Tanra Mukhe Nahe Aisa Ana. Divya?
These are two meanings of the word Krishna Varna. Indeed, nothing else but Krishna issues from his mouth.
Text 56. Kiha Tanre Bale Yadi Krishna Varana Ada Visheshane Tada Kare Nivarana. Are you able to read, Kritika? Probably not. Okay, go ahead, Daniel.
If someone tries to describe him as being a blackish complexion, the next adjective, Tvisa Aksarnam, immediately restricts him.
Tvisha Akrishnam. So yeah, Krishna means all. Krishna's name means all attractive, but it also means blackish. Right? Krishna also means black, which he also is blackish. But about Lord Chaitanya, it says Krishna Varnam. He's in the category of Krishna, but Tvisha Akrishnam. He's not black. So he's Krishna, but he's not black. So you can't say that Lord Chaitanya is black because he's Akrishnam. Deha Kantye Hayatenho Akrishna Varana Akrishna Varane Kahe Pita Varana.
His complexion is certainly not blackish. Indeed, his not being the blackish indicates that his complexion is yellow.
Okay, so he's not black, so he must be yellow. Of course, there are other colors that he could be, but because there are other verses that say that that the Lord comes in yellow, then he must be yellow. Because in Kali Yuga, it's either black or yellow. So black is a regular Yuga avatar, and yellow is Lord Chaitanya, Krishna, who comes in the role of the avatar, Yuga avatar. Okay, we have a long verse here. Kalo yam vidvamsa sputam abhiyajante duti barat akrishnangam krishnamaka vidibir utkirtanamayai upasyam cha prahuryam akila chaturtashrama jusham sadevas chaitanya kritir atitaram na kripayatu.
But performing the sacrifice of is the standing of the holy name. Learned scholars in the age of Kali worshipped Lord Krishna, who is now non-blackish because of the great upsurge of the feelings of Srimati Radharani. He is the only worshipable deity for the Paramhansas, who have attained the highest stage of the fourth order sannyas. May that Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Chaitanya, show us his great causeless mercy. This verse is Dvitiya Sri Chaitanya Shloka 1 from the Sattva Mala of Sri Rupa Goswami.
Tavamala. Yeah, so here we learn why Lord Chaitanya is not black. Because he is Krishna, so he could be black, but he's not black. Why? Because the great upsurge of the feeling of Srimati Radharani. So because he's in the mood of Srimati Radharani, and Radharani's love is so strong that when the feelings of Radharani well up within his heart, they overtake his mind and consciousness and his complexion also. And so he takes on the color of Srimati Radharani, which is yellowish, golden, molten gold, or just it says like a champak flower, or like lightning.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like that. Okay. Yeah, sometimes it's like that. I was just reading a pastime about how Lord Balaram, he was on the top of Govardhan Hill, and he just happened to be witnessing that Krishna was performing the Rasa Lila some little distance away. And Lord Balaram, he was watching it, and he was seeing Krishna, and he was having so much admiration for his brother that he, although Lord Balaram is white, he's like a puffy summer storm cloud, puffy summer cloud, like cotton white. And then he turned dark, like a monsoon cloud, blackish monsoon cloud, just because he was so immersed in thinking of Krishna and so much feeling of love for Krishna that he just became Krishna color. So sometimes this happens. When the consciousness gets overwhelmed with thoughts of the person, then color changes. Text 59. Pratyaksha tanhara tapta kanchanera dyuti yanhara chataya nashe agyana tamastati. One can vividly see his glowing complexion of molten gold, which dispels the darkness of ignorance. Yeah, so he was golden, molten gold, which is already bright color, and he was very effulgent because he's Krishna. So he was really just like this glowing golden person, and he was like tall and long arms and beautiful features and broad chest and long hair.
Definitely not good.
So when people saw him, they were just like, who is that? And that was part of his strategy, right? Was his beauty. And that happened when after he took sannyas, he was traveling, and he went to a place where there were like tons of Mayavadi sannyasis. And so he was staying in the house of a grihasta, devotees, a Brahmin family, and he was staying there, and they were talking about Krishna and just being peaceful. But he would go out, and then the other sannyasis would see him, and they would see that he was a sannyasi that was, initiated in the Mayavad Shankaracharya line, as they were. So they were like, hey, you're a sannyasi godbrother. Why don't you associate with us? Why do you just stay there with the grihastas? He's like, you should, because he didn't want to associate with Mayavadis. So anyways, they invited him to one of their lunches, sannyasi lunch gatherings. So he's like, okay, I'll go. So he went, and then he wanted to teach them something. So, because they're all thinking that they're God, and they're walking around like, Om Namo Narayana, yeah, Om Namo Narayana, like that. So then Lord Chaitanya is like, I am not going to do this. So he walked in, and there's the place at the entrance where everyone would wash their feet or leave their shoes or something before going into the hall. And so Lord Chaitanya, he just sat down there. He just sat down there in the foot wash area where everyone would leave their little dusty sandals. And he just sat there, and he was just sitting there very peacefully and, chanting Hare Krishna. And so the sannyasis, like most of them didn't know him because he was just a visitor and he hadn't mixed with them before. So they saw him sitting there, and they were just like, and they were so taken by even though he was looking like, just a vagabond sitting with the area they were sitting in, like no sannyasi, self-respecting sannyasi would sit there. But they could see by his effulgence, that he was not an ordinary person. And so they went in there and they said, we can see that you are like the most exalted person here, just based on your beauty and your effulgence and your physiognomy, like your features, that you're the most highly advanced personality in the room, because they were intelligent, like they knew like scripture, and they knew how to identify a highly advanced Paramahamsa personality. And they could see that he had all the features. It was like textbook Paramahamsa, you know, by his features. So they said, please, you know, don't stay in that dirty place. So they took him by the hand and they pulled him up, and then they put him on like the seat of honor. And then they invited him to speak. And then he started speaking, and he was speaking all about Krishna and the glories of devotional service, and how we are all the servants of the Lord, and how we can only be happy by serving Krishna. And he actually converted all of those Mayavadis to Vaishnavas. They all gave up their Narayan misconceptions, and they all became devotees of Krishna. So, yeah. But see, if he had kind of like walked in all arrogant and everything, then maybe they would have just been like, they could have been envious, you know, like, who's this guy comes in strutting in here thinking he's so beautiful and whatever. But because he took that humble position, then he kind of conquered their hearts by his humility, and then he got the chair, he got the chance to speak. Okay. So yeah, so that what made me think of that was, it says that one can see his glowing complexion of molten gold, which dispels the darkness of ignorance. So it was his glowing complexion of molten gold which caught the attention of those Mayavadis and ended up dispelling their ignorance. 60. Jivera kalmasha tama nasha karibari anga upanga nama nana astradare. Who's reading? Drista? 60.
Just a second, it's loading. Sorry. Yeah, it's frozen.
Okay.
I'm pulling it up now. Okay,
Okay.
it's back. The sinful life of the living beings results from ignorance. To destroy that ignorance, he has brought various weapons, such as his plenary associates, devotees, and the holy name.
Okay, so now Krishna's Kaviraj is saying that he had his weapon wasn't only his beauty. He also had other weapons, other astras. Right? Nana astra means various weapons. So what were those weapons? For Tama Nasha Karibari, for destroying the ignorance. One was Anga, his associates, the other Upanga, his devotees, and the third is Nama, the holy names. So his associates were also his weapons. So, and a weapon is like an extension, like if you have an extension of your arm, right? If you have a sword in your hand, it means it's like an extension of your arm. So it sticks out from your hand and you can extend it out there, and it does something, it extends the functionality of your hand, right? So that's what Lord Chaitanya's associates extended his influence, because they could go all over the place. They could go here, there, and everywhere. And Lord Chaitanya, he did that. You know, he asked Lord Nityananda and Haridas Thakur to go to Bengal. He asked the Rupa and Sanatana Goswamis to go to Vrindavan. He sent different of his disciples and followers to different places in order to extend his influence. Same way Srila Prabhupada did, right? His devotees were also his astras. Prabhupada was traveling widely, but still he was sending his devotees to countries where he wasn't going, or, you know, hadn't gone yet. And he would send them to go there first, or, yeah, like for example, Prabhupada never went to China, but he sent Tamal Krishnaraj to China, and he made so many devotees there. So, astras. The devotees are also astras, and the holy name also. Okay, text 61. Bhaktira virodhi karma dharma va adharma tahara kalmasha nama se mahatama. Divya?
The greatest ignorance consists of activities, whether religious or irreligious, that are opposed to devotional service. They are to be known as sins, kalmasa.
Wow, that's pretty amazing, right? The greatest ignorance is activities that are opposed to devotional service, whether they are religious or irreligious. So there may be some activity which is actually a religious activity, but it's opposed to devotional service. What's an example of something that you can think of? What's an example of a religious activity that's opposed? Divya?
Some people, I don't know if it's Jewish or like when they slaughter like baby goats or something, and they're like there's like a, I don't know exactly who does it, or I don't know if it's Muslim or Jewish, but I know there's like a festival that happens where they like murder baby goats or something on the street. There's like blood everywhere, and people will come and like buy the meat, like something like that, and they say it's like in the name of religion or like in the name of God that they do it or something. I'm not sure the details, but a lot of things like that.
So any kind of offering like that, that's like offering meat, Pragati's saying offering wine to Goddess Kali or something, right? They offer
Like
wine.
people in India offer alcohol to Bhairav and blood to Ma Kali.
Oh my God.
So these are like if they drink it, if they are drinking alcohol, these are not opposed to devotional service, but in a religion, like in their own religion, their mind is a religious thing.
Did you have something else, Divya?
Oh, that also reminded me, I guess like that's another one, like offering like cows, like dead cow bodies to Kali Devi. And there's another festival, like this is in I don't know where, but in like Kali Devi temples, and they murder cows, and they say it's like I don't know, cows, goats, like other animals, and you'll see like the floor is covered with blood. Like I've seen videos and like people that are like there, and everything is like it's like a bloodbath. It's like so demonic. And
Yeah.
yeah.
That sounds terrible. Yeah, I mean, those things are definitely opposed to devotional service, although they're done in the name of religion, and maybe there's some scripture somewhere that has an injunction to do that for some, materialistic purpose. I was thinking of even things that are less, murderous, like just, some elaborate rituals for worshiping demigods for, material gain and communion.
Baptism.
Oh, when they drink the blood of Christ and all that.
Yeah, I mean, it's usually just grape juice, so it's not really about getting drunk or anything, but it's kind of a big show. Like in a lot of churches, it's very much like who's taking communion, who's the holy people, or oh, did your kid get baptized? Oh, you must not be doing too well or something. It's like kind of a big show.
Yeah, so anything that's showy, ostentatious, it's just kind of like for prestige. Right? There's so many. That's why there was something said before, we were reading before, that Lord Chaitanya wasn't into like these big ceremonies and rituals and things. It's like in Kali Yuga, forget about it. Like, don't bother with the ceremonies and rituals. Just chant Hare Krishna. Like that's the process for this age. So I think sometimes in ISKCON too, we can even get like a little imbalanced, we can even get like a little carried away with the ceremonies. And I know like, we're trying to attract people to come to the temple, and especially people from like Hindu background are attracted to like elaborate rituals because it's kind of like coming from that culture. So sometimes in our ISKCON temples during festivals, we like to do like some pretty showy like yagyas and abhishekams and and pujas and different things like that. But Lord Chaitanya is saying that these things are they're practices that were recommended in Dwapara Yuga, but in Kali Yuga, that's not the Yuga Dharma. The most powerful process in this age is chanting Hare Krishna. So if we get so caught up in our yagyas and pujas and abhishekams and ceremonies and things that we don't have time to chant or we're not chanting, because these things can take hours and hours. If you're going to do some big yagya or something, that thing can go on all day, and you're just like doing all the rituals and all the offerings, and a lot of preparation also goes into it. So much money gets spent on it, and it's just like a huge time sink and money sink. And in the meantime, like you're not chanting Hare Krishna. Of course, in ISKCON, we try to always have some side kirtan going on, but sometimes the kirtan is just background music for what's really attracting people's attention, which is the ceremony or the yagya. So we have to be a little careful that our main ceremony, our main yagya, should be Sankirtan yagya. And that's the way to worship Lord Chaitanya. And Lord Chaitanya is the deity for Kali Yuga.
Even over service?
What, chanting?
Like if you're doing so much service that you're finding yourself kind of like constantly cramming at the last minute, not really being able to focus on your chanting. Should you change?
Yeah, I mean, Prabhupada said first health, and sadhana, then service. So, yeah, we take care of our health, and then when we're healthy, then we can do good sadhana. When we do good sadhana, we can do good service. But yeah, it's like one time I was in London, and at that time, the devotees in the West used to make their own clothes for the deities. They didn't figure out yet that you could just go to India and have some Mukut Wala make everything, or whatever you call them. There's those deity cloth making guys, and they're very expert, very talented, and it's a lot cheaper too. And so before they discovered that you could do that, they had like a sewing department. Every temple had their sewing department, and every festival, like Janmashtami, they have to offer new outfits for the deities. You'd have 6, 7 people in there working every day for months leading up to the festival. And I remember that the head seamstress there of the sewing department was coming up to one of the major festivals, and they had a really fancy new outfit that they were making. And she was just working around the clock, she was keeping a note of all the rounds that she was missing, and she was kind of like every day she would write down how many rounds she didn't get to. And then the idea, and she thought, well, when we're done with this outfit, then I'll just sit and chat for, a couple weeks. And then I think one time I said, so what's your debt, your japa debt? And she was like, it was like something in the hundreds or 200s of rounds that she was behind on. And I was just like, I don't know about that, that's pretty risky. And so I didn't say anything, but somebody else must have got to know about it. And then they mentioned it to her spiritual master, Shivaram Swami. So Shivaram Swami called her up, and her name was Rupa Manjari, this girl. So he called her up and he said, Rupa Manjari, it's nice that you're wanting to really just surrender and go all out and do service for the Lord. But he said that if you don't chant your japa, you're not going to be able to do this for long. Like, it's not sustainable. And, you may be a very good seamstress, but there are so many seamstresses in the world, and there are so few devotees. So what we really need are devotees, more than we need expert seamstresses. Like, we'll figure out a way to get the outfits done, or we'll have a simple outfit, or the deities don't even need to have a new outfit every festival, but they need you to chant your rounds. So, yeah. So, of course, we need to be balanced. We can't just be like, yeah, I'm just going to chant all day long and not do any service. But also we shouldn't be like, yeah, I'm going to do service all day long and not do any chanting. We have to do our 16 rounds and do service and live a balanced life. And that's healthy and sustainable and productive, and that will be appreciated by all the devotees and the Lord. Okay.
I need to go.
All right, 5:05. We'll pick up on text 62 tomorrow. Or text, yes, 62. Thank you very much. Let's see who rolls out here. Oh, wow. There's a lot of people here today. Hold on. Manu Das, first person seva. Who's Manu Das? Oh, he's giving examples. Animal sacrifice, wine drinking, lying, children sacrifice, looking down on outsiders, proselytizing, censorship, destroying other religions and other countries' culture. Oh, Jai Shri Radha Devi Dasi. Though Srila Prabhupada wanted that the devotees make the outfits for the deities. Yeah, I mean, that's the best. Yes, not that we do not chant while making that and do our rounds. I hear Srila Prabhupada lectures while I make things for Krishna. Nice. Yeah, Prabhupada wanted a balance. Good. Thank you very much for joining. Sri Caitanya Charitamrita ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. See you tomorrow, same time, same place.